As of writing this video essay, the Daniels are best known as the Oscar-winning directors of the acclaimed Everything Everywhere All at Once, a film which will be picked over by students for years to come for its angsty, existential depth. However, to me it seems rather shallow when compared to their first feature, Swiss Army Man, featuring Daniel Radcliffe and Paul Dano. A decomposing corpse named Manny, played by Daniel Radcliffe, washes up, and Hank uses him to escape to the mainland in a dramatic, emotional and comedic scene that sets the tone for this strangely dissonant film. The dissonance between the deep emotionality and childish humour lends itself well to analysis, and, indeed, analysis of audiovisual mechanics. The most interesting scene in this case is the montage scene. Hank uses Manny as the titular Swiss Army Man, and they gear up to travel back to civilization. Swiss Army Man is an outlier in terms of its production schedule, as it was scored before it was shot, meaning during production, the crew could shoot with the soundtrack in mind. Another aspect is that the score was written to the script, allowing it to reflect the script alone and not the visuals. So, in a music video style, the visuals could be shot to match the score, and not the other way around.
There was room for them to keep creating stuff, but the big songs were already written.
If we listen to the scene, and particularly the lyrics of the score, we can instantly hear the Daniels penchant for fourth wall breaking and meta humour. This is only highlighted when we take a look at a few other tracks in the film.
Restless, walking around restless. It's such a everything wonderful attraction.
These all seem to have a concurrent motif. This motif is used in the scene as an anchor to the rest of the film, with the rhyme and rhythm matching the snappy music video style editing that comes from the Daniels days working commercially.
These guys know exactly what they want and know how to get it, and are some of them, and I think their grounding in music videos means that they've been used to doing a lot of really ambitious stuff with very little money or time or resources, and so that's forced them to become really inventive and technically really highly skilled filmmakers.
This editing style, cutting consistently on the beat, works especially well as it gives a certain energy to the scene, which works well to maintain the pacing. The beat falls consistently, which means when there is an interlude of dialogue, the audience doesn't lose interest, because there is a cut expected to keep in time with the music. Take the example of when Hank finds the bottle of vodka.
Vodka.
Let's have a party.
Yeah, let's invite everyone we know.
Everyone! We're having a party!
The shot is perfectly timed with an interlude in the music, however it cuts back perfectly on the beat. It could be inferred that a musical approach was taken when cutting the scene, almost treating the dialogue as a solo, where the band takes a step back and allows one element to shine. As for the cinematography, this scene is a relative cut from the more expressionist look of the previous scene, which features rather severe focus fall-off and lens distortion, similar to that seen in The Batman. The more realist look of this scene relies on very sharp lenses, deeper focus and higher contrast. The contrast and colder colour grade are in distinct contrast with the dreamier bus sequence, and perfectly match the energetic cut back to reality. However, there is something to be said about the Daniels' choice to maintain the dissonance between the surreal subject matter and the realist look of the scene, especially when considering that the montage of a corpse being used as a machine gun, an axe, a harpoon and a shower is possibly one of the most surreal parts of this strange film. Another element that gives credence to this realist look is cinematographer Larkin Siepel's choice of shots, taking elements from commercials and documentaries, with both trying to convey reality to the audience. The popcorn shots are very reminiscent of advertising-style videography, as is the semi-stop-motion cinema shot, which both work well with the music in that they are intended to convey the appealing quality of what is being displayed. The documentary-style shots work well as an imitation of realist filmmaking, however they are most likely a result of production limitations. The film was shot over the course of 22 days in California, so it is likely for the less well-planned scenes, Siepel and the Daniels opted to shoot for coverage, rather than shooting to a specific shot list. This style of shooting works well as handheld and freeform shots can really sell the audience on the characters being real, when so many of the scenes are meticulously orchestrated purely to work in conjunction with the practical effects.
The first time I read about the motorbutt sequence, I was like, great, they're doing this all in CG. This is wonderful. There's no way we're going to pull this off. And then they're like, by the way, all practical. I was like, we're going to build an inflatable dummy that a human can ride on. And not only are we going to drag it from a boat and then remove the wake, we're going to tie a tube to it so that it can specifically shoot gas out its butt.
In conclusion, Swiss Army Man's unconventional production worked in its favour, as it allowed more freedom when shooting, as the crew already had the guidelines of not only the script but also the soundtrack, meaning that the film, and especially this scene, could be shot with a lot less planning, as the sound guides the visuals, and the creators had more room to pick and choose the footage, match the audio, and tell the story Kwan and Scheinert wanted to tell.